Good people, what's going on? Welcome to the Dome Shorts. Man, you know what the talk is right now. Nas is the talk of the hip hop world, releasing Magic 3, finishing off King's Disease trilogy, Magic trilogy, and now the talk is Nas to go? Most people have had Nas in the top five for the last 20 years. Some people had him as the GOAT, some people had him right there amongst the best, amongst the greatest. Okay, so we out here sipping on some neighbors doing yard work, so just don't mind that. So I want to go back to the beginning real quick. Nas being 17, 18 years old, writing Illmatic, him and Lost Professor, some of the guys going into the studio whenever Rakim wasn't recording, whenever G Rap no one recording, Nas was recording. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, hey, Live at the Barbecue, man, saw us on Breaking Atoms. Then, you remember Back to the Grill again and leading up to Street Fighter soundtrack with Halftime and Illmatic drops and he's crowned like the next Rakim, the next big thing in New York. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the album lived up to expectations. It didn't sell at the time, but critically acclaimed. They said, hey, this kid is the golden child. He's going to be something special. You know what I'm saying? Turns around and drops It Was Written. Classic to me. Made him a star. Put him right there next to Biggie as far as like the King of New York in 1996. And he kind of took 96 for a while, and Biggie came back in 97. Now you have where Nas is affected by Napster. I am Nostradamus. The autobiography is 13 tracks is leaked, 13 plus tracks are leaked, and they scrapped that and they do I am over, they do Nostradamus over. That doesn't happen. Nas has three classic albums back to back, basically. You know what I'm saying? But of course, after Nostradamus, QB, Finest, and the battle with Jay Z, still managed a big comeback. Ether is one of the biggest discs in hip hop history. Then he goes into a lot of other projects. Godson is huge. I Can is huge. Nas' first, second wave of his career is awesome. Some people thought he slowed down some with Streets Disciple, Hip Hop is Dead, and all of that. That's debatable if you think that. I think he still had great songs during that time. We know Lost Tapes came before that because of all the leaks, and then we ended up getting a second Lost Tapes, and obviously, Life is Good comes out, and I still think that the deluxe version is one of the best um, albums that Nas has. So now you fast forward, you end up with Nasir, with Kanye. Don't really love it. Some people say, oh, well, Nas might be just chilling now. It's quiet in his career. Then you come back with this run with Hit Boy with 6 albums, man, in 3 years, 3 or 4 years, unprecedented. Where does this put Nas at? Nas' legacy. Nas has had like three different parts of his career. First 10 years, second 10 years, third 10 years. Now, you can find some classics and potent songs and storytelling in every era. And I've never seen another MC who really debuted in 1991 with Live at the Barbecue, and it's 2023. He's still putting out music that's critically acclaimed. You know, I said earlier that Rakim has been my GOAT for the last, I don't know, well, long as I remember. And I think Nas might have taken that title, man. Nas just might be the GOAT now in hip hop. KRS sure thought that during the Versus era. He talked about he would tell people to listen to Illmatic before Criminal Minds. If you know KRS One is one of the most cockiest dudes ever when it comes to hip hop. And he said Nas is the one. Of course, we've heard Common say Nas is the one. Kanye was on Drink Champs a year or two ago and said Nas was destined, ordained to be the greatest, and he was like, he's Nas, you know what I'm saying? And Lupe Fiasco and a bunch of other MCs, Ghostface Killer. A lot of people really think Nas is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And I think that now that conversation is real. That conversation is not just being a fanboy or being a stan or some people might say. People know that I'm the biggest Nas fan, but I still have Rakim number one. I still say Biggie is potentially the most well-rounded MC ever. But I can't put Big and Pac, who died in the 90s, over a person who's on their level in the 90s, still making classic albums. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way I can put in anyone who hasn't made music in over 25, 26 years above Nas. You know what I'm saying? Nas' catalog now, I think, surpasses Jay-Z, and a lot of people don't want to say that. But yeah, Jay-Z is still the most famous, I guess, when you talk about globally. But Nas, in terms of hip hop, I believe is just more relevant than anyone right now. and I think that he's getting the flowers and the props that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? His legacy now is, when you think about him being called a golden child as a kid, as a teenager, to him being 50 years old this week, hip hop is 50. You know what I'm saying? As far as like dated, they're gonna use this as the 50th year. He's 50 years old. You can't ask for a better story. He did mass appeal concert at Yankee Stadium. I would say that Nas is the face of hip hop now. I think that people would look back and study his rhymes, study his lyrics. You know what I'm saying? This is what he means to the game a long time from now. And the scariest thing is you still might get more music from Nas. You still might get a Primo album. He said Primo album still might happen. He's recently been in the studio. Alchemist was in a session with him and Hit Boy. Could you get some songs with Alchemist? Will Nas at some point, I don't know if this is possible because of different legal reasons. There was a Havoc album Nas talked about that was done in the 90s. Like, Havoc did like 2 tracks on It Was Written, but he got a joint with Havoc, I believe. He got a joint with Swiss Beats. There's no telling how many songs he has with Salam Remy, and other producers. Will Nas do another Lost Tapes 3, Lost Tapes 4, Lost Tapes 5, the biggest discography and the biggest unreleased discography in hip hop history? I think it's safe to say, good people, Nas is now the GOAT. Cheers.